morning guys, welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about how to read more books throughout the school year, just in general, all the time. How to read more books all the time. It's hard to read a lot of books sometimes during the school year, especially if you have a lot of homework that is reading based. So as an English major in college, I have to read like novels, like classics and all kinds of other stuff, and I'm also a religious studies major, so I have to read all these religious texts all the time, and it's just a lot of reading, a lot of words going into my brain, words that I sometimes don't even know and have to figure out, and it's just a lot. So it's a lot of brain power to be thinking about what these words mean and to just read in general. So reading books for fun is a hard thing to do in a setting like that, and I do understand that. So today I'm going to give you my tips for how I read more than just my schoolwork when I'm in school. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I have a handy dandy notebook with my tips written down, so don't mind me. So I have 4 tips. My first tip is to make it a priority. If you just if you truly want to read more books to enrich your mind, to do anything like that, if you truly want to read books, you're going to make it a priority. Just like anything that's important to you, you're going to do that thing first. Now, if you spend all your free time not making reading a priority, so you do something else like watch YouTube videos or watch movies, those are all fine and great, and if those are what you like to do, then do those. If those are your priority, do those. But if you truly want to read more books, you're going to make it a priority to read more, and that means besides your school reading books. So you're going to make it a priority, and one way that can help with this is to carry reading material with you at all times. Now, if you have a lot of school reading and you're like going between classes and you need to use your in-between classes time to read school material, definitely do that, because school should be one of your top priorities to do well. But also carry a non-school book or just something that you want to be reading, because I often find myself sitting around between classes or just standing there, and I could have read 3 pages, and I know 3 pages doesn't sound like a lot, but if you read 3 pages every day, that's a lot of pages, or it will be eventually. So always having something to read with you and making it a priority can help you to read more books. So I just read this story online when I was doing research for this video that Stephen King, he recommends to read for 5 hours every day. And when I first read that, I was like, oh, that's a lot of hours to be reading. And I already spend 5 hours reading my schoolwork. I can't spend another 5 hours reading just this kind of work. But as I continued reading, it made sense. The person who said that Stephen King said this said that his friend actually saw Stephen King at a musical or a play or something, and he was literally in line reading a book, reading it until the lights went down, and then when the lights came back up, he started reading it again. I don't know if that story's true or not, but that's a perfect example of what you ought to be doing if reading is something that you really want to be doing. Okay, good sentence, Leah. Wow. Is you should always have something with you to read and always be reading all the time. My next tip is to read smaller books. So if you spend your entire semester reading one really long and really hard to read book, maybe it's 600 to 1,000 pages, so long, and maybe it's even easy to read, but if it's just so long and you have a lot to do already and you're having trouble making reading a priority, then maybe reading that 600 page book wouldn't be the thing to do right now, because you're not going to feel like you're making that much progress when you start the book in August and it comes October and you're still not even halfway. Or maybe you're halfway, only halfway, and you're just it's going to take me the whole semester to read this whole book. Well, try to read smaller books. So one of my personal favorites that I knocked out literally in a couple of days, I could have knocked it out in an hour, but I'll get to it in a second, was I read this book called Anthem by this person, and it's only 90 pages and the words are really big. And it was a really good read, and finishing this in 1 day or 2 days or even a week is going to feel a lot more accomplished. You'll feel a lot more accomplished if you finish a book, even if it's a small book, than if you spend one whole semester reading one really large book. This is also great with graphic novels. I just read Piper by Jay Asher and Jessica Freeberg. and that was really good too. And I literally knocked it out in 45 minutes, and it was so good. And last but not least, this is my last tip, is to read before you go to sleep every night. Now I know, you just finished your homework, you're just crawling into bed. Reading before you go to sleep is a great way to make yourself more tired. It's a great way to make yourself more tired, first of all, so you can fall asleep easier. And it will also give you nice dreams where you won't be thinking about or dreaming about your schoolwork that you've just been reading. I'm in an Islam class right now, so I've been reading all about the Prophet Muhammad. Personally, I don't really want to dream about Muhammad, so I try to read something different, something that's more fun before I fall asleep. And it also helps me get through books faster, is reading every night, so that I'm reading at least once a day so I get the books done eventually. So, those are all my tips. Some people recommend to read physical books versus ebooks, but recently I've been getting into Kindle books because I got a Kindle. Actually, I've had a Kindle for a while, but I got a new Kindle and it's much nicer than the other Kindle and I like it a lot more. And I like reading on that. If you just turn on like the blue shade at night so that you won't get all that blue light at you to keep you awake, that would be great. But physical books are something that other people recommend, and I love physical books. Notice my ginormous bookshelf that you can only see like 3 shelves of. I love physical books, and physical books are great. And physical books are an easier way to stay focused on the book rather than an ebook, because sometimes with an ebook you can get tempted to click into something else, or however your Kindle works, or if you're reading on your phone you could get tempted to click over to Instagram or whatever. But to just stay focused while you're reading, maybe a physical book would be better. For real though, I think that's all my tips. I guess that's it. I guess that's all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you can join my family. Hit the little bell to get notified whenever I post a video so you won't miss it. And that's it. So have a great morning, and if I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.